Hey guys, welcome into Cancel This. It is cancelthisshow.com. It is April 11th. We appreciate you jumping in for all of our content today. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about today because then again, it's 2023 in the United States of America in this crazy, cray-cray world that we have today. All right, coming up on the show, we are going to get into, oh yes, here we go again. Bud Light stocks tanking a little bit over that. Go woke. Go broke. You know the deal. Go woke, go broke. But there's a reason why companies may be doing this. And not because they want to, but because they're being threatened by that by that loud minority trying to poke the bear. When will the loud or the quiet majority stand up, start saying something? No, you're not going to cancel us. Maybe Bud Light did what they did because of a company we'll tell you about that's threatening other companies. Post our messages, post our content, or else. I mean, you can't make the crap up, but it is going on, unfortunately. We'll talk about that. More dollar news. The French president telling the world, get away from the dollar. Is he posturing? But why is he doing it? Where's Biden? Asleep at the wheel. Biden continuing not to talk, not do press conferences. He has gone back into the basement. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove that I'm wrong. You know that I'm not wrong. The Biden White House, now associated, guess what? Directly linked to the raid that took place on President Trump at Lago. That's right. The DOJ couldn't do what they wanted to do without the permission of Joe Biden and his administration. Yet he said he had no idea that it even occurred. Once again, lied to. Democrats, where are you? Biden supporters, where are you? There's no excuse for it, but should we be surprised? Okay, we've also got the Louisville shooter. Sad story yesterday. At least 5 died, 8 more injured, 5 dead, 8 injured. And we're talking about another guy that had a lot of problems, concussions, a transgender sympathist, him, her, or he, they, pronouns listed all over social media. We've got that to get into. Senator Josh Hawley told, I love you, brother, but it's time for you to start doing something. How about that? General Flynn calling out Josh Hawley in a very polite way. And coming up late in the show today, Renewal by Anderson in studio to tell you all about what you can do this spring with their products. They are partnering with us. When you partner with them, you help cancel this. All right, big show. We'll get to our advertisers, our partners right now. We come back, we'll get right into the mix. Another big day, April 11th for cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Lizzie Sparks, Scotty Gherkin in studio, Eric Johnson on the way.
And now it's here, the unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
And once again, we thank our show sponsor, Complete Auto Body Repair. Complete Auto Body Repair, 6 locations throughout the St. Louis area, in North County, St. Charles County. You can find them everywhere. The best climate-controlled conditions you can possibly work in. If you're a mechanic, a technician of any kind, you know anybody, go check them out. Complete Auto Body and Repair. They are looking for technicians. You're not going to be paid better anywhere, and you're not going to be more comfortable while working in an environment. Just go to CompleteAB.com. Once again, CompleteAB.com. Okay, guys, it is April 11th. We've got, this is the world we live in. A million stories to get into today. Just under 2 hours to bust them all in. Tabitha Hassel's here. Lizzie Sparks. Scotty Gherkin. I'm Vic Faust. Here we go. I don't even know where to go. It's the proverbial throw the dart at the board. And there we go. Did you have a chance to look at all the show topics yet, Tabitha? Tabitha, anything?
Yes. Whatever your name is.
Yeah.
Did you?
Some very good topics. Especially yesterday, we had such a big day with another shooting.
Yes.
And that every time we have one of those, I try to do the deep dive and look at the shooter and look at what happened, and seeing that it was at a bank, and seeing that the shooter, worked there. He was an intern, and then knew he was going to be fired. It's such a crazy situation. And I'm so tired of hearing about these shootings.
Yeah, let's do it, and we'll hit it. Also, I don't want to say he was all about transgenders. He did publicly put his pronouns out there.
I didn't see anything. I did as deep of a dive as I could get. I didn't see anything out there that he was trans or supported trans people outside of on his LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
He said he, him. But I will tell you what, I know some good conservatives on LinkedIn whose profile says she, he, her, him. And a lot of times it's a joke. And a lot of times I have no idea why they
That wasn't a joke.
No, I don't think it was a joke. I think
in his case, the wrong idea.
In his case, no, I think it was a show of support.
Concussions from the background. But once again, this is another, I think it's safe to say, Democrat doing what they're doing. You always said it, Tabitha. You're the one that says it. If Democrats would stop shooting and killing people, and what did you say last week? And I said I would love to see what the percentages, who accounts for that. Didn't you say over 90%?
Over 90%, yes, of homicides in this country are committed by Democrats. No,
that is
no question
bizarre.
about it. It is bizarre, but every time there's a homicide, even these high-profile homicides, how often is it a Republican?
Yeah, very
rarely.
Democrat, clearly he had mental illness.
Clearly.
You don't do what you do there unless you have mental illness.
Or you're just evil from the heart.
And on top of it, but now word coming out that he had multiple concussions as well. Multiple concussions. And Robert, I just saw from the chat line, says actually it's 99%.
Right. And Robert, that's probably true. I'm trying to
Facebook user
be
says,
nice.
That's what I asked last week, where the data comes from.
Well, the data comes from, it's pretty easy to track down because you can look at the crime in almost any city across the country and look at the demographics, especially when you look at big cities. You can look at the demographics. You can go back and look at the people committing the crimes. You can look up anybody's voter records. There's been plenty of studies done on these topics.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. You have to search for them. But there's very few homicides committed by Republicans. And crazily enough, and of course I write a crime blog, so this is something I talk about often.
How can people find your crime blog again?
It's called Truth Tellers
Because I know
blog, Truth Tellers blog.
It's massively popular.
And so I've talked about it before on the blog. Strangely enough, a lot of the Republican crimes are more crimes of passion. People that kill their wives or women that kill their husbands or something along those lines. And those crimes are the few and the far between, of course.
I just looked at the chat line again. Drew says he was going to get fired. That's why he shot the people.
It is.
Shot. That's true.
It is absolutely true.
He is, but we're not making anything up.
No.
That was the end result. He might have shot
Drew's a
people anyway.
Democrat, and he has not yet come to the fact where he can accept that his party is a poor excuse for a party right now, considering that Joe Biden is leading it and he's nowhere to be found, and all kinds of evil things are going on within the party and the promotion of all things evil as well. But that's fine. Anyway, he got his time for the day and we got it out early by 8:10. Drew, we love you. Okay. It is a sad story though, because more people.
It's such a sad story.
But once again, what gun laws or gun situations could be put on the book now that would prevent what happened yesterday?
Nothing.
There's nothing. If somebody could actually say what there is, didn't they have security there?
The bank wasn't open yet. I don't know if the security guard was there or not. I have not heard.
I haven't heard that there was any police in place or security or anything.
I know that one of the first police officers who responded, who just heard shots, he was shot in the head. A young guy, he was just a couple days out of training. He joined the police force on March 31st, from what I understand, shot in the head, in critical but stable condition. There's still 9 victims that were shot, not killed. 3 were released from the hospital, 3 in the hospital in stable condition, 3 in critical condition.
Man, gosh, it just, I hate that we're having to cover a story again
and
from the shooting, but.
And it's going to come up because people are already saying that Kentucky has such lax gun laws because you don't need a license to carry. You don't need a license to purchase a gun. You can, by state law, you can carry a gun pretty much anywhere, but like a school, you can carry them into stadiums and things like that. Private venues can say, no, you can't have a gun here if they have signage up. But the fact is, we all know, Vic, and this is to your point, that there is nothing that stops a homicidal person from committing a homicide. I mean, that's all it comes down to, right?
Well, Alex says an interesting point. He's like, well, let's use Tabitha's data. If you ban Democrats from owning guns, boom,
there you go.
What do you think about that? I always felt like Hey,
well, the Democrats
give up your guns, give up your rights. If you're going to be a bleeding heart person like that, go ahead, give up your gun rights.
And we are talking about violent crime, of course, not all crime.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one, there were a couple other shootings yesterday too. Once again, the gun laws, you can't do anything else except take all guns away. And that is preposterous. You just can't.
You can't.
It's
impossible. We see people that don't have guns ramming people in crosswalks. We see people, we have knife attacks. Look at other countries that don't even have guns. They have these massive knife attacks. They have bombings that kill hundreds at a time. When people want to commit homicide, guess what? They will do it.
Yep. Once again, and I've heard it before, Christopher, thank you so much. How do you stop a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun.
That's right.
That's the only way.
And that's how this guy was stopped.
Once again,
police
thank you for reminding
with a gun.
That. It's what happens. So you just pray that the other 8 injured are able to survive after that, because nobody's expecting that early in the morning. Boom, shots fired. And then, of course, lives lost, lives affected. And those left behind, of course, are the ones that are dealing with all kinds of sadness after it goes away. Another topic, Bud Light, stock down. Could it be because of what happened? Maybe 2 to 3% as of yesterday in the afternoon. There's all kinds of videos that are being shown all across the country of Bud Light being smashed, whatever. I don't know if it's purchased Bud Light or not. I did talk with one bar owner yesterday and said, yeah, you could say that people have not been drinking as much Bud Light products. But he also said that people don't know all that Bud Light makes too.
And that is true. That is very true. They have a lot of products out there that don't say Bud Light across them.
And it's like, damn. But once again, as Aaron says, Tranheiser-Busch Stadium, I think it's I think it's also kind
That's
of
so funny.
it's.
I can't help but laugh. I
know,
try
that
not
is
to, but it's
funny.
so funny.
I know, it is funny.
I think it's curse the Cardinals too. That and their general manager not going out getting pitching before the season. We're a St. Louis-based podcast, National Topics, clearly, but we have an affinity for the Cardinals as well. And it is funny, Aaron. The Coors team beat the Busch team last night. I just hope the Coors team does not sweep the Busch team. But Anheuser-Busch, since this came out, the Cardinals are looking really bad. It's like they've been cursed. We've got to break the curse somehow, some way. So regardless of what's going on there is this is an interesting story. Thank you, New York Post. Why would Bud Light do all this? And by the way, I know Scotty gave us information yesterday. Oh, well, but I hope that was Kevin telling you that. Was that Kevin telling you that yesterday that, Bud Light didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not true. I love you, Kevin. All indications are, and Bud Light said they knew exactly what they were doing. And they gave that woman all autonomy to do everything that she wanted to do. And
they are dumber than we thought.
They are.
It sounds like she's sworn to.
I don't think that's what Kevin said yesterday. He just said that he had heard that they went to a different canning company to keep it more on the down low before it actually was released.
And that would make
they didn't
sense.
use their normal canning company that they use 100% of the time. They actually used
okay. Well, that would make
canning
sense
company to make that can.
So the people at the canning company wouldn't say
but
anything.
Bud Light at the highest levels knew what was going on.
Correct. I don't think that was ever in question.
Would you like to know what all of the Anheuser-Busch products are?
Yeah, go ahead. That's to let everybody know.
Okay. It would be the obvious: Budweiser, Bud Lights, Kona Brewing Company, Michelob Ultra, Stella. We love Stella. Estrella Jalisco, I have no idea what that is. Busch Beer, of course, we know. Natural Light, Land Shark, Presidente, Hoegaarden. Let's see here. And Shock Top. Some very
Don't they make?
popular
But I thought they
names.
made some sort of spritzers too.
Well, I think that goes under the Bud Light or under the Bud name. But they have those Bud Select drinks. They're like, what do you call them?
No, I thought that's
like
what
a
it was.
seltzer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the Anheuser-Busch website right now.
If somebody knows,
they have a lot of band. Here's what it is. They have craft partners. Their craft partners are 10 Barrel Brewing, Blue Points, Breckenridge, Cisco.
Yeah, Bud Light
Devils,
Seltzer. Thank you, Aaron.
Devil's something, Elysian Brewing, Four Peaks, Golden Road, Goose Island, Carbach, Omission, Platform, Red Hook, Square Mile, something I don't know how to say, Virtue Cider, Wicked Weed, Widmer Brothers, and Winwood. And then Beyond Beer is Babe, Cutwater, Highball, Neutral, Ritus. They don't say anything about their spritzer products on the Anheuser-Busch site.
Well,
but
the
they
Bud
do have
Light.
some.
Yeah, the Bud Light Seltzer.
The Bud Light seltzers.
Peter says they distribute for others, and John says it's all Zima with a different flavor.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
You
Those
can
things are
only
gross.
reinvent the wheel so many times. I get it. It's all noted. But why? Maybe why did Bud Light do something just so idiotic? Hey, we're going to market to our less than 1%, and we're going to alienate about 80% others. Okay.
Not a smart move.
Guess what? Maybe they were forced to do it or felt forced because they felt like they were going to be canceled. Because we know companies, even though they know if you go woke, you go broke. It happens. We see it time and time again. You are in the majority, people. Don't be afraid to be canceled. A company or a group called the Human Rights Campaign. This is from the Gateway Pundit. Allegedly uses social media scores to go after massive companies and say, you better promote these sorts of issues.
Social crediting.
You better promote these social issues or else. Or we show your public score. We show your social public score. You've got to be kidding me. Once again,
not surprising.
Going after Bud Light. Going after Anheuser-Busch. I won't say that anymore. I thought that was funny that somebody brought that. I heard it from somebody else.
It is. I keep trying not to laugh,
but it is funny.
But it is funny.
Peter says, "Isn't it happening in China? Is that happening in China?"
The social credit scoring system has been going on for a long time in China. It's been going on a long time here in the United States, but people don't know how to recognize it.
But they are tactics from
they are absolutely
communist China.
Intimidation tactics that started in China, and the goal is to control the people. It's to control the people. Go watch Black Mirror. There's an episode about social credit scoring. And even though it's kind of off on the edge of things, it is very, very much happening.
And guess what? Who gets credit for starting a lot of the backlash? It's Kid Rock. Maybe something else would have happened. Maybe somebody else would have done what he did. But his video went viral. And as soon as he did it, boom, it started going everywhere. But here's the part that really concerns me. Once again, in a letter email report by the Gateway Pundit, the Human Rights Campaign is backed by hedge funds such as BlackRock and Vanguard, the top shareholders of most American publicly traded corporations. And the failure to advance the woke agenda would lead these companies to pulling their funds from Nike, Anheuser-Busch, and other major companies, leading to a loss of millions and even tens of millions of dollars. What? BlackRock and Vanguard supporting the Human Rights Campaign? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And every person that I know associated with BlackRock, I'm just going to tell you, and I know there's people all over, are conservative.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I've wondered about that. I do not get it either. I really don't.
So companies basically, blackmailing. And if anybody's ever been blackmailed, you know what it feels like. You do this or else this happens.
Scotty does. He's nodding. He's like, yep, I know all about it.
I've been blackmailed
he
as
gets
well.
Blackmailed every day to come in here.
Yeah, pretty much. Sucker.
But you're right, Vic. That's exactly what it is. They're and they do it to so many of these companies. I looked up all the beer companies. People were sending me memes. I would say every brewer out there, for the most part, major brewer, has had some type of LGBTQ can or flag. And I don't even have an issue with that. I only have an issue with them putting a male on their can that has now a female because it's Women's Month. It's like, give us some credit, for God's sakes. It's just messed up. And you know why? Because they don't know their base. They're marketing to the far 1%, the far left, on the very fringe left. That's not their base. That's dumb marketing.
I did not know this. And I love our viewers and our listeners. Of course, this is cancelthisshow.com. Please share the show, like, subscribe as always. You can send stars. You can donate to our show, cancelthisshow.com, so that we can continue to bring you the free speech and bring you the stories that you just don't hear in local media or national media. It is very, very interesting how much you guys know and how much you study as well. And we're grateful that you're a part of it. Glenn just said he looked, BlackRock stock has tanked because of their ESG agenda. Tab, you've talked about it a million times. It sounds great, but on a low level, hey, you can take your dollars out of this, you can take your dollars out of that. But when you have massive corporations and massive movements, and now BlackRock has more money than anybody.
Yes, they do.
They are literally investing or in charge of trillions of dollars.
And they're destroying our country.
You're not going to affect BlackRock. You're
No.
just not. Nobody is. They are number one. They are the king. Nothing stopping that. Nothing. And I mean nothing, nothing, nothing. So their stock may be tanking, but
they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
They will be heavily funded.
And
And
we're
that's
just
what they
sharing
are
the
already.
stories.
They're heavily funded by private investors. They'll continue receiving their funding. There is no question about it. And you know what? You can't fight BlackRock because people need to buy homes, and BlackRock owns a lot of homes. There's nothing you can do to stop them. You just have, but these other companies, you can choose not to drink Bud products. You can choose not to drink Anheuser-Busch products. You can choose not to buy from Amazon or not to buy from Walmart or some of these big corporations. I know a lot of people who've been very strong to their convictions when they say, hey, I am no longer going to patronize, this service or this company. And they truly stick to it and they don't do it.
Jeff just said CBS had a shocking commercial on last night. Do tell, please let us know. If you can let us know in the chat line, that would be great. I have no idea. Guess what? As difficult as it can be, don't turn on CBS. If you have an issue, don't say what your issue is and move on. Don't watch CBS because you're going to start to see a lot of those things all over the place. Glenn also adds that several states have pulled their pensions from BlackRock. Now, that's the kind of thing that could start to make a little dent make a difference.
It can.
Over and over and over again.
A lot of that, though, also could be because of what happened with SVB Bank. When the bank collapsed, people lost their pensions. And so now people are very skittish with their retirement money and where these pension accounts are going. And investing in something like BlackRock, I mean, even though we think and believe they're going to do so well, it is a little risky.
Interesting point. Robert says you can always switch away from BlackRock by going to other index funds.
Absolutely.
I guess that makes sense as well.
Always options.
Okay. Ladies, I didn't even know that oil of Olay was still around. That's still around. Allegedly.
Is that what it's called?
Oil of Olay?
Oil?
My mom used to use that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
oh no,
my grandma used it. I was like, that's still around. Well, allegedly, they're the next company that's step right on up. You're supporting Dylan Mulvaney, and it is clear as day what you're doing and why you're doing it.
I believe they have like a whole new line of products.
That would make sense.
I don't use it, but
is it just for transgender?
Not that I'm aware of, but I mean, but so many companies, like we just said the other day. I can't remember the man-woman's name, the one from Anheuser-Busch. What was her name?
From where?
The person on the can?
Dylan Mulvaney.
Okay. Well, whoever that was on the can, they look at all the deals they've gotten out of it.
But I'm not even sure a surgery has taken place with Dylan.
I don't know.
I'm hearing there was no surgery. He literally has makeup on.
So
it's a guy.
So it's a
still
he.
A guy.
So it's a he pretending to be.
That identifies as a
she.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And now is going to be wearing the Nike sports bra.
Okay.
Why not put a Nike sports bra on a real woman with real breasts that actually grew them naturally?
Well, because once again, when you're not having to fight other people, and I'm setting you up, I'm teeing it up, Tabitha. You start to create issues. You start to create drama within your own country. If this country was fighting a literal war where people were actually suiting up and fighting, our attention wouldn't be so worried about transgender issues. We wouldn't be trying to promote something that's very minuscule. We wouldn't be so into LGBTQ, and when BLM was, we would not be covering it. We'd be worried about our freaking country and our lives. These things are already going on kind of on the underground. We're trying to bring it to light. But when things are appearing to be good for a long time, you come up with all these other issues. When things are comfort, as we look at the histories, we said that no power has ever stayed a superpower because you lose your way. So we're dealing with all these issues when all these other massive issues are now going on. So I'm not surprised when you have those issues going on. And then all of a sudden, when we hit rock bottom with our money and other issues, guess what? We won't be talking about all of these trans issues and trying to promote this and trying to promote that. We're worried about where we're going to get the money. Now, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. However, those are issues that are going on. Bud Light doing what they're doing. Okay, great. Fantastic. They lose a little bit, and then we'll see. How long does it last? How long does the story go on? I can tell you this, that once you have the shock factor of what Dylan did, it's a progressive thing. I'm thinking about being a girl today. I'm going to have the surgery. It's like you have to continue to bring the shock factor or you become boring.
Right, that's true.
You become uninteresting. You have to continue to push the rock down the road for it to go on. Because people will forget about you. And then when people start forgetting about you and you're already a maniac, crazed attention chore, then you'll crash and burn unless you continue to push the envelope.
That is,
I see it, Lizzie, as you said. Shock factor.
So true. Mm-hmm. It is so true. And these companies, they need to wake up. They need to learn their base, because I don't care what anyone says. You can tell me there's hundreds of kids at these gender centers looking at puberty blockers, etc. The majority of them will probably change their mind in a couple of years and go back to how they were naturally. Some of them won't. But the fact is, it is still, I call it the 2% rule. It is still catering to the far left 2%, because I'll tell you what, the majority of the United States gay population, they are not for all this trans BS. They are absolutely not for it. Most of them feel just like we do. And these companies want to cater to these people. And you know what? Like Anheuser-Busch, when their marketing woman said, oh, they're tired of being the frat beer. They're a dying brand, so they want to relate to young people. Young people, for the most part, they don't relate to this either. Even though we have all of these kids going to liberal colleges, they still do not relate to the stuff, because look at frat parties right now. You guys can go out, you can go to any of these colleges, you can look at video of any of these colleges. Kids are still kids. They may be a little bit more liberal, but they're still having frat parties. They're still drinking themselves into oblivion. And a lot of them are doing it with cheaper beers.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just completely alienated even their younger base.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa says my gay clients just want to be left alone and respected for their choice. Lisa,
exactly, Lisa.
Same with ours. Well said. It's the same damn thing.
It's the last thing they need is to draw all this attention to themselves when you're just trying to live your life in peace, for God's sakes.
Well, once again, those that want the controversy continue to push, and their groups and their individuals that promote the crazy so that everybody else can have to deal with the crazy, so that we're not focused on what we need to be. And we're just trying to bring all that to light. Okay, there you go. And by the way, I think you said, and a viewer just said it as well, Tabitha, if there was a war and they were drafting men, Dylan would be drafted.
Absolutely so. That's the case in Ukraine, as it's been proven. And guess what? That's the case here in the United States too. When the draft goes out and you're an 18-year-old male from birth, guess what? Your butt is going to war, whether you
That's what's happening to Ukraine too, right?
As a kitty cat or a woman. That's exactly.
Didn't you say that? That's the same
that
situation
is what's happening in Ukraine, yes. And Ukraine has a large trans population,
Well, look at their leader.
Yes.
The dancing heel man, dancing in heels and tights.
Ukraine is that little dark alley is what most of the country, or much of the country is.
Oh, here's the question. Okay, our loyal listeners and viewers, would you rather have, and I know there's no answer C, none of the above, Zelensky leading you or Biden?
Oh gosh,
that's a question.
Silence.
Yeah,
I would rather have
Scotty?
Biden, because he's too dumb to know what's going on.
So somebody else is doing.
That's not even a fair question.
Yes, it is a fair question.
No,
it's a suck ass.
That's a loaded question.
Putin.
Oh,
Yeah, Putin's easier. No,
Yeah,
seriously,
but
Zelensky or
Putin.
Biden?
Well, I think Zelensky. And here's my reason why. I don't like that he dances in the dress or any of that, but he can sure fundraise money for his company.
Okay,
Well,
that
it's
makes
his country.
sense.
but it's his
Company is the correct word.
Yeah, that's
because
I said that. Yeah.
here's a comedian that now is worth what, 40-something billion these days.
Who's
Absolutely.
worse? Who's worse, Biden or Zelensky? Never mind.
gosh.
I've made everybody
It's
sick.
a tough. That's a
I
tough
have made.
one.
It's not. It
Well,
sucks.
because Biden is a shell. We know that Obama is calling the shots from behind. He's probably the guy in the earpiece that Biden's listening to. So really, Obama is running our country. This is his third term that he's talked about so many times. Zelensky is also a puppet. So technically, Zelensky and Biden are both puppets of the same regime. And
Absolutely.
technically,
God help
Obama
us!
is running both countries. So
Yeah.
think about that one.
All right, there you go. You've got three companies: Nike, Oil-Olay, and Bud Light, with the whole Dylan stuff and whatever.
And there's a whole other list.
It
a whole
is.
other list.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. Especially when we've got all kinds of massive things going around the world. Case in point, now we have issues that we've talked about with our dollar. French President Macron now saying, go away from the dollar.
Yeah.
Coming out of a meeting with China, he's telling and making it well known across the world, telling people, don't go to we need to be less dependent on the dollar. Now, is he propping up Europe to hopefully be number 3 behind China and the United States? But he was actually promoting the yuan, or am I saying that right? The yuan,
Chinese yuan.
the Chinese yuan, promoting the yuan. Macron,
because China
literally
owns them.
saying, F you, Biden, F you. To say this publicly, people, we've been telling you about it for a while on the show. It's coming. It is coming. It is coming. It is coming. Whether he meant it or not, he said it.
I'm sure he did mean it, because he knows what's coming. And look at what France is facing right now in their own country. Look
Energy.
Well, not only that, but look at the protests that are taking place in their own country every day. They have these uprisings going on. Their citizens are burning down entire cities, entire blocks because the government changed the retirement age by 2 years. So people have to wait 2 more years to retire. And just recently, Macron wanted to go to Ukraine. He was
Macron.
denied, whatever his name is.
It's not macaroon.
Macaroon. Macaroon was denied his visit to Ukraine. And so he ended up visiting with China instead. And, of course, he doesn't want to be denied. He wants to be part of the big gang. And he knows we are a falling. Look at history, like I said yesterday. Every great empire has fallen. That's history. History repeats itself. No one can stay in power forever. And it's unfortunate that the Democrat regime has caused us, the United States, to lose our rank. We are falling in power just like every great empire has.
China is broke as the U.S., both bankrupt, according to Robert.
And that's because they're idiots like we are, and they tried to close down their coal
Aaron
factories.
says, is it the yuan or the yen?
I call it the yuan. I don't know what the yen is.
No, I get it. I totally get it. That's why I was trying to get into it. Mark Levin's been saying that forever. Yes, he has been. Okay. When we talk about the dollar situation and everything that's going on with that, yen is Japanese. That's what Alex says.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the yuan. I said the yuan. That's what I thought. I didn't know. I guess yep. There you go. So anyway, once again, never in a million years would I think we'd have the president of France coming out publicly and saying this for a worldwide audience. Get away from the dollar. What happens when the dollar goes down here? Hello, do you realize that all the money that you think you have gets lessened?
Take a look at Venezuela and you'll know exactly what happens when the dollar goes down.
Explain Venezuela for people who have no idea. It was a thriving country, and boom, all inflation hits. Boom, their money is worth what? Pennies on the dollar?
Exactly. It was worth their money at one point was worth more to people as a heating source than it was to spend. All of the banks closed. The country invested entirely too much money on oil. And when oil crashed, they lost their currency. But they also became a very woke country, started following communist Marxist policies. And then the next thing you know, all their banks closed. People could not withdraw money. Their money was gone. I mean, it was literally gone.
But I'd heard this, that Venezuela was super rich because they have oil.
They were, but they put too much of their investments in oil. And then when the price of oil barrels went down, their country became bankrupt. But the banks closed.
But did any of it have anything to do who was leading the country?
Absolutely so.
If people forget,
socialist, communist,
we will remind you, it was not a socialist, communist place. Okay, people may get angry at me, and I know people may love me, but guess where Dominion voting systems were?
Yep.
Venezuela. They started changing elections. Okay, I'm not trying to be all out there, but I'm telling you, Dominion voting machines implemented in Venezuela, elections changed, different leaders in office, different decisions being made with money. Inflation goes up. Does any of this sound familiar?
It's very scary.
The money goes downhill, and Venezuela isn't even close to being what they used to be.
That's right. And Kathy's right. It's the United States' fault. We sanctioned their oil. But look at all the countries we've sank. Look at Libya. A lot of people, whenever Libya was ran by Gaddafi, guess what? It was a thriving country. He did so much for that country to make them self-sufficient. But because he wouldn't use the central banking system, we decided to take over. Now look at Libya. Look where it was then. Look at where it was now. Look at Iran, where it was because they wouldn't use the central banking system. Look what happened now. We put a puppet regime in. We are known as the United States for destroying countries, and now we've destroyed our own.
But I did see something. It is interesting since I brought up Dominion and Venezuela, which gets back to our country, our dollar. Fox News is in a massive hole with this whole Dominion thing. I think they're going to lose. If you're not following that story, check it out. Look it up. They're going to have to pay a massive amount of money to Dominion because I think they're going to lose a lawsuit. Dominion filed a lawsuit against them massively because Fox was reporting, oh, well, it's Dominion this, Dominion that. They took him to court, and it does not look good for Fox right now. It doesn't.
They could lose. It could be devastating.
But it is interesting that the Dominion voting machines were there. Something happens, elections changed, and then they're here. And then you have large groups of people, Republicans, Fox News saying, oh, yeah, here you go. We got you're blaming us for
and we
elections?
are all right, Vic. We are all right on this matter. We are all right. We
the
know
problem
what it
is proving
it
that
yes.
Dominion, and
That's
I don't think it's been proven yet anywhere that the Dominion machines were bad.
Well, how can you prove it? I mean, that's just like me saying, well, my laptop's messed up, because of somebody infiltrated it or somebody can get online and do something with my laptop. I can't prove it. I can see that things are not right. I can see that things aren't working the way they're supposed to, but you can't prove it because you're not at the operational level. Only the people inside Dominion have that knowledge. And there have been whistleblowers, but of course, who's listening to them?
Well, Mike Lindell says, or they say Mike Lindell has proof, but nobody will look at it.
Yeah, that's true too.
I know. Todd says, why do you think Tucker Carlson is kissing Trump's ass today for a pardon? Maybe because there's a massive lawsuit against Tucker Carlson as part of that Fox lawsuit. When you're at the biggest level, those things can happen. It's what happens. And speaking of which,
yes.
That is a huge interview tonight. Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump, sitting down for a one-on-one. That will be tonight on Fox News.
Darn it. I'm going to be at work. I won't get to see that. But this is how things always happen in this country. And I hate to keep saying that because I don't want to be the doom and gloom person. But in this country, you have companies like Dominion. We know they are used to cheat in our elections. We, the people, we know. Maybe we can't prove it, but we know. And there's nothing we can do to stand up against the government, because that's all part of the government keeping us under control. They control the elections in the United States just like they do in a third world country.
Yeah, and they
have better gas stations and grocery stores.
They do. These are topics off that main part of the tree. These are the branches that come out as we were talking about America, Macron, the dollar, the money, the information that's being put out there. And then you see what media gets. Okay, if money is an issue and Fox getting put between a rock and a hard place because of the Dominion machines and allegedly Dominion machines, of course, in Venezuela. It is interesting. I didn't know if I was going to share this today or not, but I will since somebody else brought it up because I saw the polling. This goes to Tabitha's, I guess I'll say, concern with Fox News. They released a poll yesterday. I'll tell you who the polling was after I give you the numbers. They released a poll yesterday saying that 48% of the 5,000 people they contacted for the polling and 54% of Trump supporters allegedly don't want him to run for president and that he's guilty of the Stormy Daniel hush money accusations. Fox News released this poll.
That's crazy.
That 48% and 48% of Americans and 54% of Trump supporters want him to suspend his campaign.
Well, they look at the daytime Fox people. They don't like him.
But
no, they don't.
But guess who did the poll? CNN.
Oh, come on.
And ABC. Fox News, what the truck are you doing?
That's why I can't watch Fox News. I cannot bring myself to do it. Fox National, they are a flip side of the same coin as CNN.
But they promote Trump though. They do. I've been watching.
They do, but they don't cover election.
I watch
fraud.
it most every day.
They don't cover his rallies.
They started to cover his rallies.
They're mostly fake Trump supporters. You know what? The only thing with Fox National, Vic, in my opinion anyway, is that they know that there's already the alternative. There's the CNN, there's the MSNBC. Nobody's going to watch that. So for them to make money, they want to garner the rest of the population. And so they jump on the bandwagon of conservative issues and Trump. But anyone, in my opinion, outside of Tucker Carlson or Laura Ingraham or Hannity to some degree.
But that's who Fox is. But that's who Fox is, though.
Well, but
that's why Fox is so popular.
But those people pay for their own airtime. They are not the daytime hosts, like Lizzie said.
But Tabitha, they're Fox.
They are under the Fox headline. Probably not for long.
They are Fox.
They are under the Fox
The
headline.
other people there are not Fox. They're Fox. And Fox and Friends in the Morning is Fox. And Fox and Friends in the Morning does promote Donald Trump. They do. If I watch it most mornings. Here's the issue that you have now. If Fox News is releasing that, to me, it does show there's a major issue at Fox News. To put that crap out there, I'm sorry. I've been a supporter, but that poll yesterday, oh my, first of all,
They're showing their true colors, and I'm glad you're finally seeing it.
anybody, well, I've been up and down with them. This poll, because Tabitha, I'm telling you, in the mornings, what you say is not true.
I do not watch Fox. I
do, which is why I can talk. And in the evening, what you say is not true. Now it may be midday, and what they put online.
Okay, but here's the issue.
Because it is very pro-Trump. But when you put out stories like this, and this morning, guess what? They brushed right through it really fast on Fox and Friends of polling. It was like, oh, okay, let's get to it.
They have to be pro-Trump. They have to be pro-Trump, but then they draw their line in the sand when it comes to some issues. They have to be pro-Trump because we are where the money is. They want our dollars. That's all that's about. I don't believe for 1 minute that Fox National actually supports Trump. I'm not saying some of the hosts don't, but I'm saying Fox National as a whole, I absolutely do not believe they support conservatives.
Okay.
They're just, you know what? It's state-ran media. They're no different than other state-ran media.
But if you have...
illusion of choice.
If Tucker Carlson is on Fox, that's Fox. That's where you're not making the comparison. He is Fox. I'm sorry. Sean Hannity is Fox. Laura Ingraham is Fox. Mark Levine is Fox.
Yeah, because Fox, they are paid programs. They buy blocks of time.
I know, but they're
Tucker
Fox.
Carlson buys his own time. And yes, Fox allows them to have their show on Fox because they want the money. Not because they support us, because they want the money.
Okay,
they want the conservative money.
They are Fox, but every now and then you'll get what happened yesterday. Why in the hell is Fox News running a poll put out by CNN?
Because they're not
they're
truly
almost
conservative.
Think about that. Fox... And anybody that's a conservative knows that polling is ridiculous. Oh, yeah. 53% of Trump supporters want him to suspend his campaign. Are you kidding me? How stupid are you? How stupid do you think we are? Not in any way did that happen. ABC, liberal ABC, ultra liberal CNN, and you're going to put their polling on your network?
And people on the comment line don't seem to understand the connection between money, because first of all, like people are saying, Murdochs are super liberal. They are not at all conservative.
Correct.
But they know where the money is. When you already have all state-ran media for the liberals, you also need state-ran media for the conservatives. That's how they keep us under control. And I love Tucker, but then there's also all those messages from Tucker and all those texts that said he hated Trump, didn't like Trump, didn't want any part of Trump. I don't know who to believe anymore. No. I don't know who to believe anymore.
Well, he put those texts were true.
They were true.
Those were 100. And then he tried to get out of it by saying,
maybe they're all just trying to make $1 off of the majority of Americans who love Trump.
I forgot about that. I would love for Trump to bring that up with Tucker Carlson.
I hope he does.
I hope he does.
Hey, Tucker, and Tucker by far is the best political commentary you're going to find.
Is he the
TV
best because he truly believes these issues, or is he the best because he's making a lot of money off of these issues?
He is the most entertaining, most insightful, most thoughtful.
I agree with you.
Most there's nobody even comes close to Tucker Carlson.
But he lied.
But then he still stopped. Like, I love Tucker. I agree with you about that, Vic. But I was disappointed when J6 videos were coming out. He abruptly stopped.
Yes, he did.
Because why?
Why do you know think?
Why? Well, because the higher ups don't want him.
The higher ups
that.
where? The higher ups at Fox.
At Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because things were happening, which should show everybody it's not just Fox. There are higher ups who Fox answers to. There are global elites. There are elites in this country that we don't know about. Yes, you answer to everybody. Everybody has a daddy they answer to, even Tucker Carlson. And it sucks, but it's the way of the world. We just try to get all that information out there.
Well, the best thing anyone can do is turn your televisions off. Turn them off. Turn your TV off. All mainstream media it's state-ran media. All of it is controlled by the government. I don't care if it's Fox, if it's CNN, if it's MSNBC. It is the illusion of choice. The government wants you to think that, oh, we have Fox News, we can watch that. No, we don't. That is also state-ran media. Turn it all off. Read foreign news, read your news. I do not watch TV. If I come in here and talk about something, Vic, it is not something I've seen on the news, not something I saw on Fox National. That's for darn sure. I read the news.
The
and
problem
read the news
is
only.
you have to sift the good with the bad.
You do. You know what? To get
there
valid
are
truth,
good stories, and there are good
I
in-depth
agree.
stories on Fox News as well. I've always said you can't throw the baby with the bathwater out.
But you can
especially
read that
in
same stuff.
You can, but you also have to be careful about what you're reading
Well-
and know the source, because even at times, our conservative outlets will choose to cover certain stories and not other stories, which gets into the quote, if you're going to admit, then you're lying.
I'm not getting
Conservative sites do that.
I'm not reading my news on conservative sites. I'm not getting I've never once
I'm
read
talking to the
Gateway
general,
Pundit.
I'm getting.
one
I'm,
time.
I'm talking to.
Oh, I know
people
you
who
are.
out there with whatever sites,
And that's why I'm trying to explain to people, if you want to be knowledgeable, and I love the folks at Gateway Pundit. I love the people at The Guardian, some of these other conservative sites. I don't read any of them. I have never once read any of them. You know what you do? You go out to foreign newspapers, you look at local newspapers, and I realize it takes time, but if you want to know
newspapers,
yes, you look at local newspapers because you need both sides of the story. And you go out
you get both sides
and
of the
you
story.
try to find you.
Are you telling me you get both sides of a story in the local papers?
If you do enough research, it takes a lot of time. It just happens to be.
I can promise you don't.
That's why you have to look at all objective sides of it. You have to look at all sides of every story to come out with what is most likely going to be the truth.
We put a lot of time into the show. We do. And studying topics and studying what we're trying to bring forward. And you, the viewers and the listeners, make that happen as well. And we're going to continue to try to do that. That's what we try to do. This stuff is crazy. The times are getting crazier, and trying to follow what's right, what's wrong. It can be exhausting. It can wear you out. It's like, well, who do I watch? Who do I not watch? Do I have time to do this in my busy life? And then, of course, just when you think, okay, I've got this here, then Bud Light supporting transgenders who only have less than 1% of the population, if that. Then you're like, oh my God, what now? I'm having to deal with this. Oh my God, my kids are dealing with this at school now. There's all and then I'm telling you, most media outlets are not fair. They're just not. I lived it. I did it for
and they're not.
years.
And especially the bigger ones. But I'll tell you what, think about this. Everything you see on, let's say, Fox Network, on Fox National, all of that started in some hometown somewhere. It started by being reported in some little tiny ad somewhere on somebody's Facebook page, and it made it into its local newspaper. And the local newspapers, and I'm not talking about the St. Louis Post disgrace or any of those. I'm talking about your little local newspapers typically just report whatever the incident is without bias either way. And that's where sourcers for people like Fox National or other mainstream news, that's where they get their information. It starts in the community newspapers.
Well, we're starting to see some of the things that are coming out right now. And not to branch off too much, but we have some major issues that are going on in this country. We started talking about this whole topic when it came to the dollar. Oh my God, Glenn Thompson, Tucker started with CNN. Well, you know what? But so did Kayleigh McNamee. So, sometimes you get a start where you can get a start.
When his neighbor was Hunter Biden. I think they were close.
I've heard that rumor before.
Yes, yes. That's right.
What do you mean his neighbor? Like house neighbor?
Yeah, like his neighbor at his house. They lived in like a gated community and their kids went to school together there in D.C.
Who wouldn't want to hang out with Hunter Biden?
Yeah, I bet he is fun. I bet he's
I mean,
got
if you're
some
in a good
fun
time.
times. Right.
And Jay's
like,
right.
hey, let's go hang out with Hunter. That'd be like who Scotty'd be hanging out with.
Oh, God.
I was trying to see.
It was a little rough for me.
I was trying to see if you were awake. So.
Oh, yeah.
He's awake.
I'm actually scrolling for just news stuff.
Yeah. He's out there watching TV.
Yeah.
There's no TV out here. Yeah, you guys are my TV. Actually, I'm sitting here watching you guys.
No, but it is. And media tells us you accept this, you accept trans, you accept do this, and
the media tells you and controls everything. The media brainwashes
Hey, Scotty,
you.
speaking of which, can
Turn
you
it
pull
off.
up the pastor video I sent you, man? I think it's a great time to pop that in here, especially as we close out. As we're told, there are people like us. There are teachers out there who don't like what's going on in the schools.
Of course there are.
There are a couple media members who try to say things, but you're not allowed to. I lived it, and people saw how frustrated I was getting, literally frustrated on a daily basis. But you need more pastors and people who have a spine, a backbone, to actually come out and talk about what's going on. I did what I could. This was sent to me to find out who this pastor is. Somebody knows who he is. I would love to know because I want to give him credit. So I apologize, but his message is the important thing to listen when it comes to these kind of messages being put out at church. Because guess what? Yes, we're supposed to be about love, but once again, Jesus was not murdered for being a nice guy.
That's right.
He was calling out issues that needed to be called out. Here's the pastor.
Transgender movement in this country, if there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. Two genders. You can go to the doctor and get cut up. You can go down to the dress shop and get made up. You can go down there and get drugged up. But at the end of the day, you were just a drugged up, dressed up, made up, cut up, man or woman. It's time for grown-ups and time for Christians to start standing up and being unafraid to tell the truth. They're dragging our kids down into the pit of hell, trying to teach them that mess in our schools. That ain't got no place at no school. 2 + 2 don't equal transgender. It equals 4. You need to get back to teaching them how to read instead of teaching them how to go to hell. The transgender.
And with that, what else can you say? Standing ovation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. As Paul says, praise God. Amen, amen, amen. Once again, that should hit home. Those are the kinds of messages that should be put out. I'm sorry, when it comes to these kids.
I was so disappointed during the pandemic in churches. Not only the transgender movement, but they also were, we got to stay home. We got to put masks on. And I can call them out here, but there was only about 3 churches that I knew in the St. Louis metropolitan area that fought back. Most of them were big old sissies. And the pastors were ridiculous. They were, we're scared of COVID. We're scared of COVID and all this kind of stuff. And it was very sad. I can name 3 that stood up for our children. They failed our faith. And they failed our children, and they failed our souls.
Congregations, well said, Lizzie. Congregations need to call out your pastors.
Absolutely.
And here's the problem that we have with the left and the media that's out there right now. If you present a godly message, if you present a traditional message, you're called a hater. If you're told, you're such a hate monger, you're not patient and loving, only if you agree with the left side will you be allowed to say what you want to say. Here's the problem. When you call out, once again, as Mike Vorse joined us the other day, we're never supposed to hate anybody. You love the person, you hate the sin. We're human. We're flawed. We're going to make mistakes. With that being said, if you don't agree with us, then you're full of hate. I think we know who the haters are. It's those who are pointing the fingers at you for calling out what's out there. That pastor, there's no hate in that pastor. There's only love. And it takes a strong, loving person to be able to call out what needs to be called out. Because the problem is when people sit back and just let life happen. That's right. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to call anything out. The slippery slope begins. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That pastor is amazing. And where are the rest of somebody gave credit to Ron Tucker. Yeah, I grew up, I knew the Tucker family when I was a little kid, believe it or not, over there at Grace in St. Louis.
They've done a fantastic job.
I don't know, but I'm glad to hear that he has a spine and will address those issues.
There are some really good churches around the St. Louis area. There
not
really
just St. Louis, but around the country.
Around the country, absolutely.
Because this is a national issue, clearly.
No question about it. And I can only speak, of course, on the ones I know, but there are some really, really good places of worship. We've talked on this show so often, so many times, that we need the Christian revolution. We need our faith. We need our Christianity. And without it, we have nothing. And it is probably the only thing, think about it, it's the only thing that could solve every single issue that we face today. All of them.
Absolutely.
Well said. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you will not want to miss the next hour. How about this? General Flynn says, Josh Hawley, we love you, but when are you going to do something?
I'd like to know too.
Tabitha, this story was picked out just for you. He's like, you're doing a great job, Josh. We need more.
Keep talking, Josh, but let's actually see some action. That's what I've been saying.
We'll break down that story about what's going on. Oh, and by the way, how about this? The Bidens. Yeah, directly linked to the raid, the Biden administration, the Biden White House, directly linked to the raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. Will anything happen?
No.
Does it matter?
No.
Are you glad to know this now?
Yes,
we'll get it.
That.
We've already known.
No,
we knew.
But now we have proof.
Yes.
We love the validation.
The problem is you have to have validation. You have to have some to get people where we need to go. We're going to break those stories down when we come back. It is canceltheshow.com. Scotty Gherkin's here. Lizzie Sparks, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. Eric is allegedly on his way in. We'll get to it all. Share the show. Check our advertisers, our partners. They help us go. You can make donations as well. Canceltheshow.com. Back with more right after this.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the cars.
Carroll House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during a solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Hey, Scotty, did I break? Oh, there she is.
You didn't.
I thought I broke her laptop. And we're back. Canceltheshow.com. We're a St. Louis-based show. National headlines, topics, news, politics, political figures, all sorts of interviews, society, and of course, cancel culture. If you have something, let us know. That's what we're here for with you as we do this show. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. live Central Time. And of course, most people catch us after the show. You can watch us and or listen to the podcast as well. Take it on the go. All right. Welcome back in. It's April 11th. We jump into another topic. Tabitha, don't you ever think that I don't care about you and I don't listen.
You never listen to me.
And when I see things, I set things on a little tee for you so you can knock them out of the park. Okay. How about this? The first thing I want to do is we'll pop up General Flynn's tweet. General Flynn had a tweet yesterday. I sent that to you, Scotty, so you can pop that up. General Flynn loves Josh Hawley, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. We've talked about the senator here several times. I think he's the best in the Senate at grilling people. I really do. Tabitha was like, well, what's he getting out of it? What are we getting out of it?
He does a lot of talking.
What are we getting out of it?
A lot of talking.
Well,
he's got good words.
General Flynn said, quote, United States Senator Josh Hawley, you have many fans across America. I am one of them. But telling us this information is irrelevant unless you plan on drawing up charges on the United States Attorney General for lying. You imply that he clearly did, ! The American people seek accountability and would like to see this targeting of Christians, especially Catholics, stop. What is it the DHS motto states? See something, say something? Well, the hashtag We the People motto is now. See something, do something. Otherwise, we're going to lose our country to this communist takeover.
How many times have I said this of Josh Hawley?
Several times.
How many times?
Now, we show you Josh Hawley's tweet. Josh Hawley, this is what prompted General Flynn to write what he wrote. I specifically asked Merrick Garland whether the FBI was targeting Catholic parishes, and he said no. Now it turns out the FBI was using, get this, undercover sources in multiple parishes. Weaponization. Okay, two stories going on there. One, what the DOJ was doing, the FBI. And two, Josh Hawley calling it out. Now the general going, okay, where do we go from here? Where do you guys want to start with this? The fact that they were doing this or the Hawley Flynn situation? Never mind.
Well,
are you not listening to me?
I'm so upset about it. It just...
Yeah, what I think is, okay, I could be totally wrong, but I love Josh Hawley. I do. However, I agree with Tabitha that he just talks and talks and talks, and I don't see him doing anything. And I think his go-to when he doesn't know what to do or what to fix is to just say, I'm going to get rid of Twitter. That's his big go-to. And Tab and I both
TikTok.
Yeah, or TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. Well, in this case, it was Twitter. And so he goes to social media. We're going to pull your social media away from you. Well, I'm fearful for them to pull my social media away from us.
Well, that's called communism.
Yes.
Even if they ban TikTok, if they ban Twitter, that's called communism. That's
Absolutely.
what China does. You know, we in America, we have free will. And we have the right, whether you like Twitter or whether you like TikTok or not.
Correct.
We have the right to look at those sites. That's up to us because in this country, we are free, allegedly. And what upsets me so much, Vic, and the reason why I hesitated is because there is no safe place for us anymore. That you have the government spying on you in your churches.
Yeah,
there is no safe place.
Here's
for
Here's what the FBI was doing. And it's now been proven to be true. The FBI were using undercover agents in Catholic parishes. Undercover agents in Catholic parishes to, quote, find domestic terrorists.
That is ridiculous.
How many Catholics have shot up a school?
Well, and we know this.
None?
But I'm telling you, the left agrees. When you start listening to left politicians, and people, yeah, they're just crazy. They're Trump lovers. Yeah, blah, blah, which has nothing to do with Catholic parishes. Undercover agents. This has been said, proven, admitted to. Undercover agents in your Catholic parishes to try to find out who are the talkers, who's promoting the faith, who's going to abortion clinics, who's willing to stand up. We're taking notes.
Yeah.
If that doesn't scare the crap out of you, I don't know what does and doesn't. And this is why General Flynn, now that kudos to Josh Hawley. I'm telling you, I love the job that he's doing in record. Somebody's got to uncover it. Somebody's got to talk about it.
And
the
I'm
next
glad
thing, and it's not all on Josh Hawley.
No, it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan. It's like that's why they come to these committees without saying they have a stomach virus, is because they know that they can just bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch. And then when they leave there, they all go to their favorite watering hole and they go, those dumbass Republicans, nothing's going to come of this. And the rest of the American people are like that. I love a good fight. I love seeing Senator Johnson go nuts on these guys, but nothing comes of it. And Flynn is absolutely right. It is so frustrating to know that Josh Hawley has these clowns up against a rope, or Lindsey Graham, or whoever's in the committee. They basically won the argument But it's like a debate class. Nobody cares. Nothing comes of any of this stuff. These guys are Teflon Dons, man. You can go right now to Ray, say, sit down, have a seat. So it looks like you're going after these Catholic parishes, and they are. We busted dead to rights. They think of you guys, if you're a Catholic, this is the truth. You're enemy of the state. And they've said it in press conferences. White supremacy is their number one nemesis. Well, not Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Not, not these militant groups, Antifa. They never say those names.
Well, the FBI did an entire report on how white Americans, Christian Americans, are the biggest domestic terrorists.
That's right.
It's insane. And like Kasia Staki, she's on the comment line, grew up in communist Poland. She said the same thing. She's like, this is like how she lived in her teenage years. The government coming into your church, that is communist. That's exactly what.
And remember what
they spy on you.
Remember the background of MAGA for the people who forgot. This is not a derogatory term. It's make America, us, great once again.
How dare you say that, you hater?
Yes.
How dare you? You hate people in America.
Let's just take, even if you're a Democrat, we're going to make it great for you as well. Hey, redneck in the middle of Arkansas, we're going to make this great for you as well. Catholics, Jews, non-denominationals, we're going to do our best to make this great for you again, so that when China decides to rise up with Russia, we will be strong. So go and do whatever you want to do. We're going to try to make them. I mean, that's what is so fascinating to me.
That's how you end up in prison for sedition.
Isn't that nuts? You're right. He's right. You're right.
Guys,
that's crazy.
Happening.
It's just crazy.
Is happening.
It's crazy.
Scary.
So if you're Catholic, better hide yourself.
And let me tell you something. If you're in Catholic parishes, there's not domestic terrorists. The domestic terrorists are those who are running with BLM.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
BLM.
You're wrong.
Antifa.
Let me tell you why.
Revcom. Those are your true terrorists.
Nope, you.
Those are the ones.
Nope.
And it's not just the Catholic Church.
The government's trying
churches.
to label you a terrorist because you may disagree with them.
Perception is reality. You guys have all heard that term, correct? So if you have enough people in TikTok and in the White House and in the State Department and the DOJ, if you have a document that says you are a domestic terrorist, guess what? The perception is, oh my God, you guys are terrorists. And we're smart around here, but there's a lot of people that are kind of dumb that go, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was terrorism in the Catholic Church. Thank you for telling me that. So perception is reality.
Yeah, you took
and
it
that's
to a
how
different spot. Yeah.
I know. I didn't mean to do that.
But Aaron on the chat line has a good point. We are bashing on Hawley, but they're like, what do you want?
Who's bashing?
I'm not bashing.
Tabitha and General Flynn were bashing on Hawley.
No.
Okay.
Flynn wasn't even bashing on him. He was
I will take credit for that.
No, Flynn says I'm a fan.
Okay, so whoever's bashing Hawley or not bashing Hawley, they're like, what do we want him to do specifically?
I was just going to say
his opinion was the Catholic Church itself should be the one rising up and standing against this.
Amen. But I think the Catholic,
what's anyone doing?
It feels like the Catholic Church is on the Democrat side a lot of the time, doesn't it?
They are now, and it's a bummer.
Am I the only one in the room that feels that way?
No,
it depends here's the thing. As we were told and educated on Friday, church teaching hasn't changed and it won't change.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have leaders who will come in and then leaders who will go out and have this message. And that's not only the same in Catholic, but any kind of Christian faith too. Just like Lizzie said earlier, you weren't here, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
You had pastors at every kind of church you can imagine following the Democratic agenda.
So disappointing.
So it can vary from place to place in perception of how things should be said and put forward. Now, this, as Hawley said, Christian churches and Catholic parishes.
It is, it's not just Catholic churches.
Yeah, and is what
Christians.
The FBI was doing. It's all Christians who have a different agenda than the government, who's trying to promote all of this anti-God rhetoric.
Yeah. But they got
Scotty, were you going to say something? Oh, I thought I heard your voice. Sorry.
So you got to understand that it's all about the messaging, and it's like Washington D.C. is this big debate class, and nothing except for against Trump ever comes out. Nothing about it. I mean, you can impeach Trump twice for nothing, and he almost gets impeached.
Well, we need to get back to Hawley. What is Hawley supposed to do?
He's supposed to do something. He's supposed to draw up charges.
He was elected for a reason. And you know what?
What about him and Eric Schmidt? What about him and Eric Schmidt?
What are they supposed to do? That's what we're trying to get.
Well, exactly what General Flynn did. Let's get some charges pressed here. Let's go after
the
U.S. Attorney General
can file charges against the sitting attorney general.
He can go and talk to the person that can. He can talk to Congress. You know what? Congress as a whole is a failure. It's not Hawley. It's as a whole. Our Congress.
Well, he would have to have a buy-in with Mitch McConnell.
Failure. These people, they don't represent us.
Well,
the vast majority
even have power in the Senate.
It does not matter. Even if they did have power, and they still didn't do a darn thing for any of us.
I don't think a senator can
They
put
don't
charges.
do anything.
I don't think a senator can go.
They're just a bunch of talking
file
heads
charges.
lining their own pockets. They don't care about us.
Okay, yeah, but that's easy. But we're trying to get to the bottom of the line.
Well, it's not for. I mean, we can ask rhetorically all day long.
I still think, but
we don't have. We're never
Hawley,
going to get an answer, guys.
Hawley is doing the best he can.
I do too.
Opinion.
You got it. At least he's bringing light to it.
He is studying.
They all talk a lot.
No, not
Look at
they
Lindsey
all.
Graham. He's been doing a lot.
Okay,
of
let me ask. Hold on, Vic. Let me ask.
There is no Republican senator who is doing more than Josh.
Let
Hawley
me ask Tab
when
this.
it comes to uncovering and getting information out. There isn't.
This is all information we already knew. He's just reiterating.
Let me ask.
We've known about the FBI being in churches for 3 years because they released a report about it.
Hold on a second. Let me, because
There's an FBI report
knows
they
a lot.
released.
You have.
I talked about it on a different radio show.
Hold on,
but you have to prove it.
It's the FBI released a report on it. That is the proof.
Take a pill. Here's the deal. I agree with you. I agree with Tabitha, by the way. She comes up with a lot of things that just they come true. Like
I talked about this report like
stuff,
over a year ago.
All kinds of stuff Tab talks about. It sounds nuts, but it comes true. Name one senator. I guess we'll just start in the Senate.
That does anything?
That has done something in the last 20 years.
She's not going to be able to answer.
No, maybe she's not. Maybe she might say, Eric, you can't do it. Name one that you like. One senator you're like, man, they just knocked it out of the park. If it's not Hawley, because at least Hawley is bringing this stuff into the light.
I like the folks on the Freedom Caucus because I'll tell you what, they actually have done something.
Well, that's the House.
It doesn't matter.
The House. Yeah,
They're
it does.
still part of Congress.
Big difference.
They
it's
have
a huge difference.
Big difference.
They held McCarthy to the fire, and he has made all of these changes. I know we have some good senators. I've met some senators, here, and I've gotten
She's
to know
changing the
some
subject
senators.
again.
I'm not changing the subject.
Yeah,
we have a lot of them that write good bills.
Give me a good senator in the last 20 years that you're like, that guy, I can't believe he's gone.
And tell us what he did that Hawley.
Or her.
I can't think of any.
Or her.
I can't think of any.
Really?
I can't think of any really good ones, no.
That
I can't remember a time when I thought that Congress ever represented us. I know there are some good local senators, some good local people who have the right objectives, but guess what? If you want to continue on in that position, you have to play the game.
So Hawley's doing it better.
Not.
So then Hawley's doing it better than anyone else that's in the Senate.
I didn't say he was doing it better. I said he talks a good talk.
I agree with
They all talk a good talk, but we wouldn't if our Congress, senators, or the House actually did something for us, we wouldn't be in this position
maybe
right
Hawley
now.
can flip. Hold on, maybe Hawley can.
They're supposed to fight for us.
Hawley can. Wait.
What does that mean?
What did they do? What did they do?
She's not going to be able to answer that. Here's what maybe you could say.
Because they've done nothing.
Maybe Hawley can flip it around on us. You ever think about that? Maybe Hawley can say, I've brought this information to light. I now need you, the American people's help. Maybe he's thinking that, here it is. I need you guys to go do something now. Maybe that's what he's doing. You ever think about that? I mean, if he can't do anything in a Senate where he's the minority and he has a lame duck minority leader in Mitch McConnell, maybe he's saying this in front of the news cameras to say, I now need your help. And maybe that's the only thing that he can actually do.
You know what? If he actually was a guest on radio shows or podcasts, maybe we could ask him ourselves.
It's not his
but
jam.
He refuses to interview with podcasts or radio.
It's not his jam.
He refuses. He refuses.
Would you?
He would never answer questions from us.
Yeah.
We are below him. He would never answer questions
Tabitha,
from us.
I'm going to tell you right now.
We are below him.
Okay. There's not a senator in the Republican Party who does more than Josh Hawley.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's your opinion.
That's true. Well, who else is there?
It's factual
and you're
evidence.
entitled to it.
Who else? Factual
Who's better?
evidence. He is the man who is front and center at undercut. And what you do when you're a senator, you have your staffs, and you go and you uncover these situations. You have these investigations. I'm telling you, there isn't anybody doing more than Josh Hawley. Now, from a senator standpoint, you can't tell me what a senator can actually do to stop or make you feel better outside of what's happening.
There's nothing.
They represent the states. Okay, great. They can bring legislation. Here's the problem that you have. He's in the minority and he's only one of 50 senators. When you're one of 50, you don't control anything, which gets back to your point about Congress, which is one I agree in. Yeah, it seems like we don't get a lot out of, quote, Congress, but there's no doubt in my mind we get more out of Congress when there's somebody like Donald Trump in office, a Republican, than what we're seeing right now over the last couple of years, which has been the worst that we've ever seen.
I agree. And
we will agree to.
I see the suffering on Tabitha's face.
And you have yet to tell us one thing.
Well,
I agree with Vic on that. Though.
That there's one thing that Josh Hawley is supposed to do that he can do as a senator that he has not done.
And we could even get him on this show, Tabitha.
Wait, no, we can't because he doesn't talk to people like us.
Don't rile her up.
He does not talk to people
That's
like
why you don't like him. It's like you're a jaded high school sweetheart that won't go. It's like no one will ask you to the prom and you hate him because of that.
We are below him. We're below him. Radio's below him. He doesn't do radio. When we were on the edge, Vic tried endlessly to get him on the show. He wouldn't do it. He is not one of us.
The starting quarterback of the team doesn't ask out the emo chick in the corner.
He is playing the game. You know what?
I'm not saying you're an emo chick, by the way.
People can write all they want and get people riled up and say, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, this needs to be done. Good. These are things we already knew before he said it.
I sure would like to talk to Aaron Rodgers about psilocybin, but I'm sure he was not going to come on this show.
Tabitha likes to throw the baby with the bathroom. Screw ma, that is good.
Pretty much, yes, because I'm disgusted with what's happening in this country.
We're all disgusted, but you have to
and
do
Aaron,
deep
I would run, but no one would vote for me.
I would vote for you.
I'd vote for you.
I would vote for you.
Tabitha, I'd vote for you.
Yeah.
I'd get kicked out on day one.
Get some.
Tabitha,
come on.
I'd help. I'd be your campaign
in the DC Gitmo.
I'd be your campaign manager
I'd be
for a day.
crazier than Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Maybe a week.
No, I don't think you would.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you have a much scarier personality than Marjorie.
I do
much
not.
scarier. You're like.
By the way, Hawley, and I just saw something that he did other shows. He would not. He just didn't do it live. They were always willing.
Pre-record.
They were always willing to tape, but they could not tape early in the morning. And that's when I was like, you know what?
And you can only ask him these questions.
But I saw it when I was
talk about these topics.
No, that's not true.
He's like a little prima donna.
No, it's not true. You couldn't only ask.
I bet he backs the trans movement.
And just remember, Josh is the same guy that completely undressed the reporter from KMOV.
I'm not saying he hasn't done
who put out horrible tweets, and then Hawley called him out on air and then put that video out as he was recording to let people know, hey, you can't trust your local media because you have people like this.
And to answer Sally,
Josh Hawley's a badass.
I'm going to call him today. I'm going to call Josh Hawley.
You need to call him.
You can't get him live early in the morning.
That's okay.
That's the only issue.
I want to answer Sally on the comment line.
Right,
She says, how do they have time for podcasts and TV appearances? They need to work 5 days a week, 9 to 5, like the rest of us. Well, you know what? When you get elected into a position, part of your job is to talk to the constituents who elected you, to keep to be on their level, to talk to them about issues, to answer questions. And when people don't want to answer questions and they don't want to be on your show, then of course, yes, I'm going to call them out for it.
Only from a live standpoint.
When he joins our show, I will change my mind and I will be nice to him forever.
That's not fair.
You're not going to be the prom queen. You're not going to be the prom queen. Don't hate somebody because they're not inviting you to the dance. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's a good.
Just don't. Just like them for who they are.
Did you
get
invited to the dances, Tabitha?
I wanted he would be asking
back in 1985, Lizzie,
to go to a dance.
Back in 1985, Lizzie, I wanted to go backstage.
What?
I'm done. Back in 1985, Vic, this is how you look at it. I wanted to go backstage to AC/DC. My friends got to go backstage to AC/DC. I did not for some reason. I didn't get a pass, but I still like AC/DC, even though they wouldn't take my little ass backstage and meet Angus Young. And that's how you have to look at it, like that. Do you think they're doing a good job on the stage that they have? You're just a spectator. You're doing your thing.
I'm not a spectator because you know what, Eric? I am definitely not a spectator. I am living this nightmare. This nightmare
you need a vacation.
In this country that I would love a vacation, but it's not going to solve the world's problems, unfortunately. I am not a spectator. None of us are spectators. We're sitting here. The laws that they make, the laws they don't make, the things they're doing, coming after us in our own churches, that affects all of us.
Which
And
means
I
we
am
are
ready
spectators.
for our, we have to be, because we're sure not letting
All
us
the
do
world's a
anything.
stage. Rush told us
And
that.
look at Lindsey
years ago.
Graham. I would much rather talk about him. What a warmonger he is.
Man, can you talk bad about a Democrat?
Well, we know they're
Why'd you pick out a Bernie Sanders out of the crowd?
Because you know what? Because what I would like to know is, who are these people representing us, and why aren't they actually representing us? I would love to see Lindsey Graham. He wants to send U.S. troops to Taiwan.
Yes, he
wants
does.
to send U.S. troops to Ukraine. He wants to send U.S. troops to Mexico. I hope he is on the front lines of wherever he wants to send our troops. You think that guy represents us? I used to like him. He doesn't represent us.
Well, who do you like?
Nobody.
Come on.
I
Tabitha
just
doesn't
told
like
you.
Is there
anybody.
anybody that you
I
like?
like
No.
all the folks
She
on
likes
the Freedom
hams.
Caucus.
Okay,
I
the
love
Freedom
folks on the
Caucus
She
Freedom-
likes hams and turkeys.
I'm going to say something really controversial.
No, you're not. Not.
Please do.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so the Freedom Caucus
Yes.
is who I most agree with.
Yes.
However,
All right.
they don't always get along with the people we don't necessarily like. And that's part of our problem. I see that even here in Missouri. And this is going to really piss some Freedom Caucus people off.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So I'm going to really piss them off. Okay, they're great. And they vote just like me. But when they get to Jeff City or DC or whatever, they can't play nice. And I know we're sending them there not to play nice. I do understand that. We want them to do what we
can't have it
want
both
them
ways.
to do.
Done playing
Can't have it both ways.
I get that. That being said, there's this whole faction of people. It's even going on in Jeff City right now, that they are Republicans and they're rhinos.
The state capital of Missouri.
They're not real Republicans.
Yes,
for
and they're
our
not.
national audience.
However, when you take yourself and you call yourself freedom fighters, and there's like 5 or 6 of them in there, who are great. So I'm not bashing them. They are great. But then there's these people that they don't care how they vote. They're there for the party. They're there for the free things. Okay. So when you take these Freedom Caucus people, these people over here, whatever we want to call them, already are not going to vote the way the Freedom Caucus is going to, because they're already pissed. They're the people not invited to that party.
Yes.
If the Freedom people would stop calling them that name and come over here, they could be just as manipulative and get those people over here. They only vote with the people on the left because they're invited to the party. So I get that the people on the right are what we want them to do, but they do need to figure out how to manipulate just a little bit better to get these stupid asses that are voting Democrat. They'll vote Republican if they just bring them to the party. And I know that sounds simplistic, but I'm telling you that's what's going on. And if they did more of that, we would get shit done.
Just silly
and
games.
we're getting it done now in Jeff City because the new ones are have figured that out.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
They just
at
want to
the
go
end
to
of
the
the
party.
day,
I would too.
At the end of the day, you still have to take a vote. At the end of the day, if you're in the House, if you're in the Senate, if you're the governor, you veto, you still have to take a vote. Like those morons down there in Kentucky or Tennessee with the 2 representatives that they expelled.
Well, one's being let back on, by the way.
If they let them back on, I would have an immediate, if I was me, I would have an immediate vote and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm glad politically correct Nashville want you to come back. You broke the rules. Bye. I would do it again.
But wait a second. Let me.
I would
give the
expel them
specifics.
again.
No, but they were expelled. They voted. What the Tennessee legislature has done, the legislature there has done, I agree with Eric. They had another vote on to let him back in, and he passed. One of the 2 passed. The other one maybe passed.
No, the city council from Nashville put him back on.
They put him, but they had to allow him.
But if he come back in the House chamber, I'd say you were expelled.
But
bye.
But guess what?
And they would vote him out again.
That thug punk learned his lesson. He did. Watch. He won't be walking in there with a bullhorn anymore.
He just did yesterday.
He won't. No, he did not walk in with a Tabitha. He did not walk in and create a controversy like he did last week.
They took 300 people to the Capitol with him in another insurrection.
No, they did not walk into the Capitol yesterday, Tabitha. They did not. They did not. Being outside has nothing to do with.
So basically what you're saying is that the Republicans are going to capitulate.
He's gone.
They're going to capitulate.
He's gone. I have no problem.
He should have never been
So you
allowed
think
back.
that the Democrats would allow?
But they did it by a vote, Tabitha.
I know.
It was a vote.
I get
The
it.
only reason they were voted out was because the legislature followed rules and law. You have to have law and order.
They belong in the D.C. Gitmo is where they belong.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
So then they went back through and they followed a process. This is why he was reprimanded. He was scolded. and he learned his lesson. For now, let's see if they come back in, their asses will be gone.
Well,
they will be gone. They got taken out behind the woodshed.
I think
it's a local.
What Tabitha and Lizzie are saying are correct. It's like you just saw an example of how you made it was like go to your room, you were out all night. You're grounded.
He had to go.
You're grounded.
He belonged in prison. Why am I the only person saying this? That what he did was no different than what a lot of in fact, it was more violent than a lot of the January 6ers. And this guy walks free and gets voted back in. It should never have been allowed. It shouldn't have even been an option. He belongs in prison as an insurrectionist.
But the rules were followed.
The rules are different because they're
Democrats play with flattened balls.
These rules were not different.
The Democrats play with
the same
balls.
With that bullhorn, he should have went to prison.
Don't get so mad, Tabitha. We know that the game is rigged. Everybody, hold on. Everybody knows that the
and I'm getting ready to blame you for it.
Everybody knows that the officials on the field are coaching the Democrats. The officials on the field have a vested interest in the Democrats. Everybody knows that there is no fair. What
does it take to make you guys angry? That's what I want to know. When are we going to be angry?
I guess what's going to take you.
I've never seen Vic angry.
What is your anger, Tabitha? What is your anger going to do in Tennessee when every eye was dotted and every T was crossed?
That's just one
and
issue.
The laws and the rules were followed on how you deal with somebody like that.
Okay, well, they don't. The Democrats only
nothing
follow,
unfair.
The government
happened.
only follows rules when it's happening to a Democrat, not when it happens to Republicans. And yes, you did just say that.
And
maybe when enough
certain issues,
maybe it's rigged in almost every issue. Maybe when we finally all get mad enough, we will actually get up and
maybe
do something.
But you always say these things that sound great. But what is
I said it too, Vic.
But what is the specific thing that needs to be done?
Well,
what is Hawley supposed to do?
I'm not talking. This is not about Hawley. This is not about Hawley anymore.
It is kind of about Hawley today. It is.
This is about the people coming together. Maybe we need to stage our own coup. Why are we being so nice? In other countries, the citizens gather together. They get the military together and they stage their own coup. Why can't we?
Here's the deal. Because it comes back full circle to this. Josh Hawley, very simply, is basically being called to the carpet for saying you talk a big game, but you don't do anything. So I turned it around and said, maybe Josh Hawley is at least allowing you to see what the hell's going on behind the scenes. And he is now begging for Tabitha Hassel to rally her troops in Missouri and actually help him out.
Maybe he needs to organize a rally. That's an action.
He's a senator. He doesn't. That's not what senators do.
He's a person before he's a senator.
He's a senator.
He's a person before he's
not
a senator.
to mention Rally's really got a bad
Christian before he's a senator.
Rally's kind of got a bad rap in the last few years.
Why aren't they sending the FBI to Joel Osteen's church? That's what I want to know.
Ask him.
That's where they belong.
Ask Christopher Ray.
What about Joel Osteen's church?
I said, why aren't they sending the FBI to Joel Osteen's church? Find out how he bought that big plane.
No, they found the cash in the walls. He reported it.
I remember.
He accidentally found hundreds of thousands of dollars.
He probably forgot where he buried it.
Stuffed in the wall. It was accidental.
Oh,
it's
and then
one
they
of those
reported
days.
it.
It's one of those days.
All right. I'm excited though. We're doing a big switch here right now. One of the companies that we have partnered with, and by the way, this is cancelthisshow.com. We've had a lot of fun, a lot of excitement today. Tabitha, I'm giving you homework tonight. Please tell me exactly what Josh Hawley is supposed to do and what the Tennessee legislature is supposed to.
And I'm going to give you homework since you said he will talk to us on a taped interview.
Yes,
let's get that worked out. We'll come
I'm in it.
At 10 o'clock at night. If that's when Josh Hawley's available.
Eric, leave
the calendar.
Eric's
open.
not coming in at 10 o'clock at night. Scotty's not coming in at 10 o'clock at night.
Scotty's up and about.
I'll be surprised if you make it in at 10 o'clock at night. Hey guys,
I'll just be getting off work.
Hey, one of the companies that we partnered with is Renewal by Anderson. Everybody knows them. They rock the St. Louis area. Heck, they got companies all over the country that do what they do. You guys are the best when it comes to windows. We're going to talk a little Renewal by Anderson today. First of all, if you could tell us who you are, full name, and what you do with Renewal.
So my name is Brian Price. I am the Assistant Sales Manager at Renewal by Anderson in St. Louis. So thank you guys for having us on.
Yeah, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. Everybody knows the Renewal by Anderson name.
No question.
You guys are the best at what you do. We're getting into spring. People start thinking about windows, don't they?
They absolutely do. In fact, it's going pretty crazy right now. a couple of things happen. One, people are kind of coming out of hibernation right now. So they're thinking about doing some things around their house. Tax money starts coming in. It's just a good time to really be looking at some of these things. And of course, we just lived through a St. Louis winter. So it's one of those things where you really start thinking about, how am I going to make my house better, not only for the summer coming up, but for next winter. I don't want to live through that again. So this is a great time to have us out. It really is probably our busiest time of year, but it's also because we run some of the best promotions that we run.
And there's no better home improvement than your windows.
It's tough to beat. You think about it. It's one of those things that covers so many parts of the house. It's an exterior improvement. It's something aesthetically that's going to look a lot better. On the inside, it looks nicer, but it also is much more energy efficient when you get good windows.
No doubt.
And it's something that, has a relatively high return on investment compared to some of the other things. We ask people all the time, what is the biggest return on investment thing you can do in your house? And most people think kitchens and baths. Well, those are pretty subjective things. You might put hundreds of thousands of dollars into a kitchen and then try to sell your house. Somebody comes in and goes, well, that's the first thing.
It's freaking windows.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I look at.
No idea.
I've looked at probably 50 houses over the past couple months. And the first thing we do is look at the windows.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot of real estate on our show here too. On Wednesdays, Kathy Helbig Strick comes in and, Dan, we should ask, of course, it makes sense with windows.
No, it's so every time I talk to Kathy, and I love inventory's low, and we're in this really high interest rate kind of a malaise right now. And so the first thing that I always say, I have to literally in my mind have to chop this off and go, all I really want is to upgrade my house. You know what I mean? Right. And the first thing you can do to walk in, and I've done this twice, is to walk in the house and you look around and the windows are new. There's no draftiness anymore. It looks amazing. There's projects you can do that takes a flat window to a bay window of sort and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So I totally agree. I think that whoever said it, getting new windows is a new house in a lot of the ways.
It really can be. And, right now you think about some of the different options that are out there. A lot of people, and this has really kind of been since COVID, you're seeing more darker colors on windows. You're seeing black windows, bronze windows.
Yes.
And they're really, they're kind of all the rage. But, I live out in St. Charles County, and it's kind of one of those things where here, you're seeing a lot of the new construction head in that direction. So it's sort of the general population is sort of heading towards different styles of windows. It's not just the regular white double hung windows.
I like the new styles.
I know.
Yeah, I think they're badass. Yeah, they really are cool.
They're awesome. And it's kind of one of those things where it really, like you said, it's one of those things that can really totally transform the look of your house. Yeah. And you mentioned it too, interest rates are up. The real estate market is kind of leveled off from last year. So this is a great time to sort of, we're all kind of at where we're going to be for a while. So why not dress up where we're at? Why not make our house more comfortable? I know a lot of folks, especially after winter, talk about, oh gosh, it was so drafty, or I had water, or I had this, that, and the other thing. It's one of those things where you can really make a big difference in not just, the value of your home, but also the value of the living in your home.
Yeah.
And that's something I think a lot of people don't think about.
So how do you, I'm not the house I'm in now, but the house I just came from, I would have loved to take in the old 1970s windows and ripped them apart and made them bigger. Is that something you guys have the ability to do?
So it kind of depends on what you're looking at. Are you talking about the disco ball windows?
Yes.
Of course he is.
I never heard it called that before, but exactly. I knew what you're talking about.
It's kind of one of those things where, the best thing to do is have one of our design consultants come out, because really, you think of it, it's a salesman coming out, but in reality, what we're doing is trying to make your home better overall.
Yeah.
And so we can look at different openings and see how we can make them not necessarily, definitely better, but also more what you need.
Yeah.
I go to houses all the time and people say, well, I don't really ever open my windows. Well, maybe that's a spot where you put a big picture window in there and you get a better view.
Or it has lead paint over it and you can't open it in the first place.
Right. They're painted shut, or the old owner nailed it shut.
Exactly.
And that happens more often than you think.
And by the way, we're talking with Renewal by Andersen. We're talking about the best window company throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. And of course, they have companies all over the country. So we know we have listeners all over the country. And all you do is you go to our website, and you go to canceltheshow.com, you go to our partners page. You can find our link for Renewal by Andersen. You can book a consultation. We have that for you. Or you can call the dedicated phone number, which is 314-912-4133. That's 314-912-4133. It can't hurt to get a consultation, right? And it doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. They will set you up with their company in whatever city that you may be living in.
Yeah, that's 100% right. And we are pretty much all across the country at this point. So there's not too many, at least major metropolitan areas that aren't covered. And then some not major metropolitan areas.
I was shocked. Mark Z, your guy's marketing genius over there, said, yeah, we're
let's not get crazy.
Hold on.
Let's not get crazy.
Let's not drop the G word.
Yeah,
okay?
let's watch your adjectives over here, son.
Brian, like
I don't know.
Like Eric was saying earlier with the real estate market, the inventory is so low right now.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were saying, so many people are going to be put for such, a lengthy potentially period of time. People are buying their houses right now and they're keeping their houses longer.
Right.
And I'm hearing this new trend, and I don't know how much you're hearing it, where people are opening up like an entire room, and where they would normally have, let's say, a back bedroom or a closed in family room, and they're they're putting in the doors and turning it into a patio area outside. Is that something you're seeing a lot of?
It is.
Trying to change their home?
It's interesting. You are seeing, in general, in construction, you've seen a sort of a shift towards more sort of open floor plans in general.
Yes.
But you are seeing that where people are. Here's the big one. Most of us, if you've live in a house that was built in the last 40 years in St. Louis, for example, most of the houses have the grids or the grills on the front of the house, the little crisscross pattern.
Yes.
That kind of thing on the front windows. We're seeing almost like 75% of the people we're talking to are like, I don't even want them anymore. I just want it airy and open. And
exactly.
And so you're seeing that in general.
People are wanting to open their homes up and have more natural light.
Right.
I'm hearing coming in.
100%.
More access to the outside.
Does that get into patio doors too then?
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely. And that's something, that's a huge part of our business. Anderson, we've been around for over 120 years. So we're the oldest American window and door company, but we're also, not just about windows. It is the patio doors as well. And there's such unique styles that you can do with that, whether it's a hinge door. Most people, it's really funny. Most people we talk to when they're talking about a door project, they want a hinge door because it's like, oh, I want the French doors that I can open.
Yes.
But they don't think about, oh, my kitchen table's right here. That might be a problem. So we do have gliding doors as well. So, but the cool thing about it is we just come out to try to help you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what most people
can't hurt to get a consultation.
Absolutely
no,
not.
because you can put a patio door in more places than you ever imagined.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you can make your rooms more open by doing that.
100%.
I see people doing it to their bedrooms.
Yes.
To closed family rooms. It happens so often.
You should be a design consultant. Do you know a design consultant over there?
I'm a terrible designer.
Go over there.
It all sounds
Do I look like a designer to you? I mean,
I'm bringing Tabitha Hassel with me today.
We do ride-alongs. You can just come along.
Ride-alongs like the cops.
Yeah,
you're not.
It is. It's
well,
kind of
I
like
can't move
it's
to
like
Florida, so I can't move to Florida. So I would love to have my house open, to where I can have more air, more light, more patio space, more easy access to my outdoor areas. I love that idea.
But we're not just talking about a 100-year-old company. We're also talking about a 2023 most trusted companies in Newsweek. Yeah, just Newsweek. We're also talking about 3 times in a row JD Power winner, 3-time winner. And how about a 9-time winner in a row for the Energy Star Partner of the Year? You can't go wrong with renewal if you're even thinking about it. If you have any questions, as you heard Tabitha talking about, you contact them, get the consultation. It's simple. It's easy. You can call the phone number 314-912-4133, 314-912-4133. You can also book a consultation on our website at cancelthisshow.com. You go to the partners page. It's very simple. You click on Renewal by Anderson. And if you can, and if there's any way, let them know so that they can follow it, that you heard about them and you heard this segment on cancelthisshow.com.
Yes.
You guys are slammed. I keep running people. Oh yeah, Renewal by Anderson. Of course, Renewal by Anderson. What is it that separates your products?
I can answer that for you if you want.
Okay.
Eric, you over there and stand in the green shirt.
Eric will be doing a ride along later today.
Yeah, I want a job, Mark. But here's the deal. What's so cool about these guys? Usually you have some clown that was a flunky coming in talking about your windows. You take the order and they have to take it, and they basically they order all that stuff from China or somewhere else.
Is he right so far?
Sounds correct so far.
They build their own damn windows in their own damn facility, so they are in the supply chain is right there. I went through a situation, Vic, where I ordered through another company. I won't say them. And it took me, first of all, it took me 3 months just to get the product in. It took me another 2 months for the guy to come and actually install it.
Nightmare.
And When I called to find out where the damn thing is, I literally could not get in touch with anybody that knew where my project was. Just that alone with that company right there. Where's my windows? You know what? I'm looking at them being built right now. Let me go down to the floor and find out. Just that a little bit alone is so damn valuable. I can't even tell you.
Eric,
is that right? I mean,
Eric, if I could drop your mic right now, I would.
No, I'm not even trying to be. I'm not trying to be.
You're right, and you know the thing about it is, you know, all of our windows are made in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, so what's cool about it is if you live in West County, for example, and you live in a house that was built between 1965 and 1995, odds are it has the exact same Anderson window. They almost every single house has those windows. So it's a name that people, especially in our area, know and trust. But you're right. If you have a problem while our windows and our corporate offices and all that stuff are in Minnesota, you're talking to somebody right here in town.
Yeah.
Whether that's if you're in St. Louis, if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, if you're in Little Rock, Arkansas, wherever you are, you're having that same experience of talking to someone local. So it's nice because you've got this behemoth of an organization in Anderson Windows, but you're also dealing with local folks to do those projects for you.
Yeah.
And you really get that what we call signature service. It's the customer care that you're really not going to find in a lot of locations. And what really separates us from a product standpoint, Vic, you'd ask that, you know, most of the window companies out there are doing vinyl windows. Now, if you've had your house built since 1995 or maybe even a little earlier, most of those houses have vinyl windows in them. Vinyl windows are fine if you live in a place that's not called St. Louis, Missouri. We have probably, if you think about it for a second, probably from an extreme weather standpoint, the worst swings of any place on the planet.
Yes.
Where we can get as hot as the sun and we can get as cold as the Arctic.
Within 10 minutes.
Sometimes the same week, right?
Yeah.
But just overall, you know, you think about, we always talk about Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota gets really cold, but their summers are spectacular. Our summers are not so spectacular here, but our winters are almost equally as bad. So, you know, vinyl is a material that, and we all know it, we all have lawn furniture, we all have plastic kids' toys, whatever it is. It doesn't hold up outside. And
sounds like that would be good for a contractor, maybe a home builder, profit margin.
That's 100% it. And so that's why it's really interesting. I've been doing this a long time. And it used to be we would go to houses that had older wood windows that maybe were rotting or you know, people didn't want to paint them anymore. Now what we're finding is our average age house that we're going to visit is shrinking because builders are putting in the cheapest possible window.
Damn, I'm learning a lot today. I'm like, I'm happy and
you
I'm
guys
sad.
must work out at Newtown a lot. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, by the way,
we will come to Newtown if you're watching now from Newtown.
Strategic Error Services owner Kevin Malutnik, who comes on the show occasionally, happens to be listening to the show, just jumped in. People know him. They trust him. He owns a facility we broadcast out of. Says, quote, renewal just installed new windows in my entire house. Brian was awesome! Exclamation point. Kevin,
look,
thanks
he
for
just
jumping
made him
in.
blush. I love it. Can you bring the contrast up on his face, Scotty?
Can you hit the cough
No,
button,
but it's
please?
so important because people will see, number one, deciding, hey, do I need this? Number two, oh my gosh, I see commercials all over the place. How do I know where to go to get the right windows, the right thing for my home? And this is why it's great to actually get a chance to talk to you about what's right for the home, what separates renewal from others that are out there.
Well, and you know what's funny? We're all inundated with marketing everywhere all the time, right? So, but if you notice over COVID, most of the commercials that were on TV or on the radio or wherever, there was a lot of window companies out there, a lot of home remodeling companies out there. That was a business that actually did quite well during that time frame. And it can get confusing really quick. They all start to sound the same after a while. I get that. What the difference with renewal is, we're not a company that's going to be here 5 years and maybe not after that.
Right.
And you see that happen so so often these days.
It's unbelievable in our industry. You know, a new competitor or a new company comes to town, you know, offering the greatest, you know, the greatest and the best and all this stuff. And what happens is they sell these windows in this market that don't last. And now service becomes an issue. It builds up so much that now they can't, it's out of control.
Right.
And so they either shut down and come back as somebody else or just move on to the next town. It's almost like the old circus where they would, you know.
That happened to someone I know, and it's a devastating thing. And not only that, but there's a lot of companies out there, window companies that are not reputable, and they will come out and install windows in your entire house. And then when your window, this seriously happened to somebody, the windows wouldn't even lock. That's how badly they were installed, would not even lock.
Yeah.
And then you can't even get a hold of the people to come back.
Right.
It's insane.
It's called the taillight warranty.
Yes.
It lasts as long as you can see their taillights.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys have any specials running right now? Do
We sure
you
do.
have financing? People start looking, okay, how can I make this happen?
do you guys
I know
do
I need this
financing
for
in
my
house?
house.
We do. So that's one of the ways we really separate. You know, obviously rates are going up everywhere. Everybody knows that. One of the things is we you know, you think about it. If you or any of us went together to a bank to try to get a loan, it might be tough right now. We're going to get a rough rate.
Yeah.
We're talking about again, Behemoth, a $4 billion company that we have the backing of. So it's like we're taking them to the bank with us. So right now, what we've got is we've got a nice promotion going for the month of April.
Okay.
It's a buy one window or patio door, get the next one 40% off.
Okay.
Plus an entire $250 off your entire order.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you can put no money down, have 0% interest, and no monthly payments for 18 months. What that means is you can get the project done now and pay for it at the end of 2024. So I've been talking to a lot of folks right now. You know, I don't know if you've looked at this lately. CDs right now, they're paying between 5 and 6%.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to pay cash for a job, you take that money, you throw it in a CD, you've just made 5 or 6%.
Yeah.
When the market isn't, you know, who knows what the market's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just we really have a lot of investment tools for people because these windows really are investments. You know, they are something that you're putting into your home that you're expecting something back out of, not just comfort and beauty. And
that's the bingo. He nailed it right there. Do you see that? Here's the thing. You can't overinvest in your windows. Boom. There you go. Take that one to the bank.
I'm right with
If you're
you.
like, you know what?
Is that trademark? Can I use that?
You can. Go ahead. Don't let him steal it.
We just had a question, local installers.
Yes.
There you go, Donna, local installers.
Yeah, Donna, that is right. We do. We have what we call our own certified master installers. What that means is we've got a team of, I believe we're at 37 or 38 crews right now, just in the St. Louis and Southeast Missouri area.
Damn, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, hey, business is going well, but we've got to take care of these customers. So what we do is there's a training and certification process that Anderson goes through. So every crew is represented with a certified master installer. This is someone that's done over 2,000 window installations, over 500 door installations before they step foot in your home. But they are a local crew. It's somebody here, whether you're in the St. Louis area or you're around the country, that's typical.
Once again, the phone number to contact Renewal is 314-912-4133. That's 314-912-4133. You can also go to canceltheshow.com. You can click on partners page and just click book consultation. It can't hurt to make a call to check it out. That's why we've teamed with Renewal by Anderson, because it makes sense. And if we're going to do something, we're going to do it with the best. And everybody knows it is the Renewal by Anderson name.
Kevin was kind enough to share before and after of his house. So I can share that on my
Here we go.
here. So there you go.
Let me see. What
before, obviously, the bottom.
Before.
Oh, damn. They did all the black.
Those are the black windows that I love.
Beautiful.
Damn, Kevin.
That looks beautiful.
Okay, I'm checking that out.
That might be a nice transformation. I'm not sure.
Wait a minute. Who came up with the black window idea?
I love that.
Did you come up with that, Kevin? Was that all you?
But okay.
Because that looks amazing. That looks sick as hell.
Really nice.
So, Ryan, can you explain, what do you think Kevin did from a value stand? And this may not, I know you're not a realtor, but you've been working in this, and what would doing something like this for a home? Because we're giving an example before and after. How much value can you add to the home?
It's up to the person who thinks that's valuable. I mean, but it's.
Are you kidding me? That's a night and day difference.
It is a night and day difference.
Here's what the data tells us. Okay, so we look at what Remodeling Magazine has basically annually. It's called the cost versus value report. So they get lots of quotes for different things, and they try to calculate ROI on certain things. Kitchens and baths, which most people think are the highest, are typically a little bit lower. They're like in the 55 to 65% range. Most window projects are in like the 65 to 70% range. Our own data would suggest that we're probably closer to the 75 to 80% range. Now, that's if you're just doing a basic window project. If you do a massive transformation like that, I mean, that's something. I mean, come on, look at the difference in that house from start to finish. Not that it's not a beautiful.
It doesn't even look like the same house.
No,
to me it does anyway.
It's not that it's not a beautiful home to begin with. It is, but look at the curb appeal alone.
Curb appeal. That was the word I was looking for.
But now, and now you add in the fact that you've got this beautiful home. I got to think that's something that I hate to be the guy who's like, oh, it's going to pay for itself.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing.
But Brian, this is your expertise.
Yeah.
In the windows, and you've seen it.
But here's the thing. It's like the human mind doesn't know what it doesn't know.
Right.
I would have never equated that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to come into the house and say, I know it's ugly and I know it's drafty. I'll be over here if you need me. Can you come up with a few ideas?
Sure.
Do you guys do that? Because if you
100%.
guys said, well, what do you want? I'd be like, I want you to leave, is what I would say, because I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
So you guys have the expertise to come in and go, try this one on for size.
Right. And
you know what I mean?
And here's the thing. With windows, it's one huge thing. With patio doors, it's another. One of the things that, we haven't touched on is we also do front doors as well. And that's probably the biggest area that people need help
in concert with the windows.
Because you go to the big box stores, you see something you like, maybe you see something on Pinterest or whatever. We can come in and actually visually put something on your home and you can see it.
Yeah.
And it's done. You know what you want. You see it. It's
like
awesome.
a mock door, something like that.
It's literally it's a visualizer app.
That's really neat.
We had another question. I just want to make sure we get in there before we go out. We had another question. Do you do custom work as well on older homes?
Yes. So every window that we make is custom. That's a big difference too from us and a lot of companies, especially general contractors in general. They're going to pick up a big box store window that's a set size. Maybe they'll have to frame the house into the window rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
So we're building the windows custom. So yeah, if it's not what looks like a standard type of thing, especially on doors are, you get in the city, you get in the older construction. A lot of those doors are not anywhere close to anything that would be considered standard. So
because they're smaller, right?
Well, sometimes they're smaller. A lot of times the walls are a lot thicker. So those jams, instead of being just a little, and I don't want to get too technical nerdy here, but
no, go ahead.
Instead of being
We're
like
nerds.
that's cool. 4 9/16 jam, which is totally standard. You might have a 9-10 inch jam, so it's in a real thick wall.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, we walk people through that process, and really. Somebody mentioned on here, windows are boring. I couldn't agree more. I do it for a living, and I have to make this fun every day.
I don't think they're boring.
Oh, but seriously, if you just think about it at the surface level, it's not super fun, right? But that's one of the things that's really cool about.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the things that
we've talked windows for about 25 minutes, and we haven't missed a beat.
It makes windows are the kind of thing. If you're going to sell your house, I will not buy your home because of you if you don't have the right windows in there.
It makes such a big difference. That's why I said I've looked at all these houses. The first thing we look at are windows because if they're not good windows, expertly installed windows, or they're old windows, and you buy the house, guess what? You're going to be replacing the windows. You're going to be paying that cost. And right now, when sellers have multiple offers, and they're looking to inch up that price, windows will do it all.
Right. And it's amazing. People think a lot of times they'll say to me, you know what, I'm getting ready to sell my house. I'll just go to the buyer and tell them I'm going to give you X amount of dollars off. Here's what's happening though. Buyers are getting more savvy about houses. And here's the other thing. Yeah. Buyers are also buying houses that are 30, 40 years old and want them to be brand spanking.
There you
go.
go.
That's right. I'm one of those people.
Right. Because if you go out to St. Charles County, you can buy a 30-year-old house for about half the cost of the new stuff that they're building, but you still want the stuff that they're building.
That's
still
right.
Of course you do.
The new look and all that kind of thing. So you have to, and here's the other thing too to think about. In the last 2 years, most of us, if we own a home, have made significant gains in the value of our home. You've got to keep up with that.
That's right.
You can't allow that house to become the last one in the subdivision that nobody wants to go to and buy,
Brian, I also got another question from the line. Can you give an example? I know it may be difficult putting you on the spot right now, and I know there's a lot of factors that come into play, but can you give a price on how much a typical 2-story house is with 17 windows?
Oh my God.
Somewhere between $0 and $1 million. It really depends on what
I know. I was like, I have to get it
well,
out
their
there.
size and
people
are getting interested. They're asking questions.
People ask for a ballpark. I usually give them Wrigley Field. The best thing to do is call the number on there, and a design consultant can give you a price that, first of all, we can give you a price that we'll honor for an entire year. Now think about that. If you go to the mall or the store or wherever and you try to buy something and you say, you know what, I'm going to come back in 365 days and I want it for the same price, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, 314-912-4133. That's a dedicated line for you guys. 314-912-4133. Or you can just go to canceltheshow.com, our website, click on partners, and our partners page pops up. You book a free consultation. Nothing lost. You can get some information and see if a door, a patio door, the windows, see if it can help you, your housing situation, whatever may be going on.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be elusive with it, but there are so many options that you have. It can really range pretty greatly.
And sizes.
Yeah.
There's so many different
styles and colors and, what kind of glass you want to do. We really didn't talk too much about glass. Most glass that most of us have, if you live in an older home, it's probably single pane glass. So terrible for our market.
Yeah.
If you live in a newer home, it's probably not the most efficient glass because most builders are, again, that's sort of a profit center for them. You know, when you build a house, you're looking at the floor, you're looking at the countertops.
Not me.
I'm
with Tabitha. I want airiness.
Well, but for the most part, that's where most people are at, the lighting. And what's interesting is that's all stuff you're probably going to change in the next 5 to 7 years anyway.
Yeah.
And I want windows that open. I see too many houses that have windows that are non-functional.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good point.
And Dave from the line, thank you. Dave says Brian's awesome. He's going to be calling as well. And by the way, when you partner with him, you help cancelthisshow.com as well.
Dave's a hard sell.
Hey,
He's definitely a hard sell in your kitchen. So be very careful.
Brian, I'm curious, before we let you go, is there anything, and Paul already says he had them done in Michigan. Paul lives in Michigan, said he just got your company up there to do it as well.
Nice.
Said you guys
Thanks,
are
Dave
the
and
best.
Paul.
I'm sorry?
I said, thanks, Dave
Oh,
and
yeah,
Paul.
absolutely. And is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with before we get out of here today?
I think the biggest thing that you know, you really got to look at the material that you're using, the improvement in your home it's going to make, and the company that you can trust to do it. And that's the hardest part in our industry because there's so much noise out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, you really got to look at, is it a company that's going to be here when I have, something that I need down the road? And unfortunately in our business and home remodeling in general, that's just not the case.
Yeah.
But you also want to look at, is somebody coming out and handing me a piece of paper with some numbers on it? Are they really walking through and finding out what I need and really delivering on what I need?
I had a friend of mine, just to end with this. I had a friend of mine in Seattle who went through the whole window process. One day he came home and they were working on his windows. He said, I forgot I even ordered these things. It took him so long to get his windows. He goes, I walked down, there's a construction company and my wife was giving him tea or whatever. He goes, Eric, I forgot I even had an order out there.
Oh
It's something that, I mean, and luckily he got them.
In Seattle, for sure.
Well, and anywhere there was a glass shortage for a long time. That also caused some problems.
It's like everything else. We had our challenges for sure.
Yeah.
But what's nice about it is we're a big enough company that we're back from all that, and we're in a really good spot now.
Yeah.
We weathered the storm, if you will, and we're excited to help serve the people of St. Louis and across the country.
So you don't rely on that. You don't rely on that whole the chain of products to do your job. You don't rely on China. It's all in your backyard.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest advantage that we have is that all this stuff is going through Minnesota. It's coming to us. Even some of the wood stuff that we do, that stuff that's domestically produced. It's not something that we're waiting.
I think you're going to find
on
benefit in that in the next few years. People are going to be really digged into that. So
it's starting already.
Yeah.
Brian with Renewal, we appreciate it, my friend. Thanks for coming in and educating us. It went by fast too. Give them a call, 314-912-4133, 314-912-4133, or you can just go to our website, cancelthisshow.com. Click on our partners page, scroll down, you'll see the Renewal by Anderson site. Click book consultation. It's a free consultation. You can get some education and see if it's right for you. Brian, we appreciate you jumping in today with us for cancelthisshow.com. We'll continue to promote Renewal as well. And we thank everybody for joining us today. We had a spirited show. We're grateful. Once again, check in tomorrow, 8 to 10 Central Time, AM, of course. And of course, you can catch us at all times on cancelthisshow.com. You can also catch all of our original content there in the library as well.
Party at Kevin's house.
It's a damn nice house.
Come in. I'm bringing the cocktails.
I know where it's at. If you guys want to follow me.
Let's go.
We're heading there today.
Let's go. We got a helicopter.
That does it for this April 11th podcast. Thanks for joining us today. For Scotty Gherkin, Lizzie Sparks, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hass, who's actually smiling now, believe it or not. Brian, you made her smile today.
That's gas.
Oh, Eric.
That's not a smile.
Windows made her smile.
I was thinking about those big, beautiful windows at Kevin's house.
Hey, have an awesome day. We'll catch you next time for cancelthisshow.com.